Palimpsest, something reused or altered but still bearing the same form. This uncommonly used word adorns Protest the Hero's new album, a concept album that covers America and its greatness, both in good and bad ways. Musically, this album has wild time signatures and breakdowns, but thematically, I found it to be even more interesting, especially when it comes to the track Little Snakes, which illustrates a portion of the entire album's message. Lyrically, in this song, we dive into several complex topics, including colonialism, callbacks to 1970s counterculture literature, and a monument's loss of meaning. The song begins by setting a scene all too familiar. Oh, what a typical story. Contested site. The Americas with treaties broken. The same sad token, torn and repaired with paraffin. This statement references how we so often will take a war site, like one that originally was a battleground for oppression against Native Americans, and dress it up into a monument to commemorate what happened. The song goes on to describe how this monument tells the story of a particularly rough battleground filled with bloodshed. Through the song, we are told how America's ancestors killed these Native Americans, took their rights away, and then mercifully gave them back to them. And of course, Americans are aware of the mistreatment of Native Americans. But because of how horrible this past is, we often choose to ignore it. We gloss over it and forget it in our history texts because it paints those who founded the country in a bad light. Our ancestors, instead of being seen as heroes, become villains. Which brings us back to the monument I described earlier. Protest the Hero tells us through lyrics, forgotten in the shadow cast by celebrated busts, lies the site depicting history's ignoble bloodlust. There might be flowers in the windows, but only ashes in the streets. In this way, we see how the monument isn't representative of what actually happened. In fact, it's a very poor facsimile that commemorates the history in a more positive light. In this way, we are shown how monuments only preserve history in the way that we prefer to remember it. They can choose to dress it up and make it pretty, rather than staring our transgressions in the face. And unfortunately, this is often the way we do things. But Protest the Hero goes a step further, choosing not only to implicate the people creating the monuments, but making us complicit in the crimes. Let me explain. As I previously stated, this monument can't directly illustrate what it is, because it would show America in a bad light. So it chooses to set a pleasant reconstruction that we visit on our vacation or our holiday. And once we're done ogling at it, we pack up the car and drive away. So in these ways, the transgressions of the past become consumable, capitalistic erections to make us feel something for a moment, only to forget later. However, it's important to note that Protest the Hero are not the first to have these thoughts about monuments and lost meaning. In fact, these thoughts have been around for a while. In the 1973 novel Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut, the purported sci-fi author asks us these questions about representation in a different way. Vonnegut draws several images in this book that are supposed to represent larger themes, from bodily parts to commonly recognizable household objects to, yes, even monuments. In creating these smaller pictures, Vonnegut is simplifying these words and cheapening their meanings. When he makes direct references to monuments themselves, he explains how although people may have the best of intentions when they found them, monuments soon fade into obscurity, and everyone forgets their meaning. Whether it be a street named after someone who was killed through a traffic accident tragedy, or a national attempt at genocide, like Protest the Hero describes, the problem with monuments remains. Whereas Vonnegut views this as a de-evolution of human beings on a path to stupidity, Protest the Hero argues that this is dangerous in its apathy, because we have the ability to look at a monument, observe for a moment, only to turn around and forget. Unfortunately, Protest the Hero doesn't give us a solution to stop this consumption nightmare. And like the monument itself, the song is almost ironic in this way, calling attention to the tragedy, but unable to make a change. Even this video does the same thing, which brings us to bigger questions. Ones that I don't have the answer for, but maybe you do. How do we create monuments that matter? Can we even do so? What do you think about Protest the Hero's song? Does it only call attention? Does it inspire change? Is that even the point? What's your interpretation of this song? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I can't keep doing this without your help and support. If you'd like to support me monetarily, you can do so on my Patreon in the description link below. I hope this helps. I love you all.